months ago, I got a message from a good friend that runs some racing cars saying, I'm aiming to enter the Burkett. I have 6 drivers required for 3 cars. If you can get your ARDS license done in time, you can have a seat. So, with that in mind, I got in touch with my friend Nick, who runs Learn to Race. And what we're going to do is he's going to teach me A, how to race, and B, how to get my ARDS license.
ARDS stands for the Association of Racing Driver Schools. It's a Motorsport UK recognised collection of race schools that train and test prospective competitors to ensure their suitability for holding a Motorsport UK competition licence. Essentially, it's a driving test for your race licence.
So we've come to Donington this evening for essentially a test session with Nick, so he can kind of go through what's required to get my ARDS and also give me some tuition out on the track in the 330. So first things first, what are the steps involved in getting your ARDS license?
So first step obviously is to get a bit of track time, which is what you're doing tonight.
Yep.
And then to make it official, the next thing is basically to go get your Go Racing pack from Motorsport UK.
Okay.
Once you've got your Go Racing pack, you then just have to basically assign or go to a local ARDS school, which is normally at Brands Hatch, Donington, etc., one of the larger circuits, and put in for your test.
And that's it. And you have to go. It's a written and a practical, isn't it?
Exactly that. So yeah, so you've got your written test, only a small test, but multiple choice, and also some other flags on there and things like that. And then after that, you go into the driving assessment as well. So you get obviously check to see sort of what level your driving's at and to make sure it's safe on track.
Yeah. The priority is that you're not going to be a danger to anyone else, really, isn't it? It's,
100%.
It's not, are you the fastest? Can you take every apex? Or anything like that. It's, are you safe?
Yeah.
And you're not going to go into a race and just cause chaos.
100%. It's all about being aware of everything else around you. It's the safety on track. You're doing the correct technique.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're aware of all them other cars around you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the danger.
Absolutely. So the plan for today is to take this out. Along with the 330, it's not just this that you do, is it? You've got 4, 5 cars?
So we're quite spoiled for choice. Under the Learn to Race branding, we've got 3 cars which are designed for coaching. So we've got this one as the 330, the 135i, which is an auto, spec up very similar to an M2, Club Sport, etc., with half cage and things like that. And then we've also got the Cayman.
Yes, 987, isn't it?
987.2, yeah. So brilliant little car. It's based almost on a Cayman R. It's got a very similar spec to that.
Yeah.
Just a smaller engine, a 2.9.
Right. Okay. So that gives you that mid-engined dynamic to teach in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's that.
So
build up.
Along with the Learn to Race stuff that you're doing, you're also part of the NJM. It's you and Jamie do arrive and drive race cars, don't you?
Exactly. So the nice thing about Learn to Race, we're the starting point. You come into us, we get you trained up to that level for your race license, and then obviously start looking at sort of more of the technique side of things.
Yeah.
And then after that, we can also supply you cars as well to go racing. So we've got a good mixture. Me and my business partner Jamie, we run, as I say, NJM Racing Limited, and effectively we have a mixture of cars for endurance racing, sprint races, all sorts. So everything from Ford KAs through to Super Copa factory built race cars. So
amazing. So what that means is, for someone like me, I can come to you and go, A, I want to learn how to do it, and B, I want to do the racing, but I don't have to invest in a whole race car and all of that sort of stuff. So we can go from the process of having either never been on track before to being in a race all with you, rather than having to do bits here and there and learn it all from scratch.
Exactly that. You come to one place, one family as we call it, and we're in the team basically, and go from there. You sort of, if you enjoy being with us, then there's progression the whole way through, and you can easily do 5 years with us and not drive the same car each season. So
amazing. Well, I think it's probably time that we go and get out on track then.
Let's do it.
Just a merry head tap. I went to drink my coffee and I've got a helmet on. I've been around Donington before.
Cool.
I'll leave that on.
So just relax into it, build into it, especially feeling the car, feeling the difference. Most of it's third and fourth round here anyway, because of how much torque it's got and the long gears.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there, basically. Cool, so good checking out right-hand mirror, make sure you're nice and clear before you head out there.
All good. Helps if I get the right gear.
Grab it out nice and wide, looking up, looking through the corner.
So is that post my apex?
It's actually just after it, but it's a nice guide. So we'll roll out wide once these guys are through. That's a Frank's MX-5. Onto the brakes, down to third. That's it. Look up, look through the corner. Nice, unwind the wheel, smooth feed on the throttle. Right, so what I want you to focus on next corner, when you come off the brakes, I want you to say slow release as you're coming off it.
Okay.
Onto the brakes, stay in fourth, that's it. Slow release, back on the throttle, unwind the wheel, smooth on the throttle. That's it, lovely. Feed it on, bring that over to left, feed on the throttle, keep it going. So keep on the power the whole way through here. Nice, looking good. Bring that over to left. Then hard on the brakes, down to third, staying wide. Look up, look through the corner. Look for the second post, that's your apex, then unwind the wheel, smooth feed on that throttle. Up to fourth. Keeping it in fourth now, so onto the brakes. Slow release. Roll it in, balance. Unwind that wheel slightly. Miss that second apex all the time. Stay out wide. That's it.
All the way wide.
Just let the car sort of slowly push itself out. Roll in. Straight line, that's it. Unwind the wheel, smooth feed on the throttle. Got Janetta coming through on your left. And change, that's it. Bring that over to left. Merging over. That's it, stay on the brakes, then slow release. Roll it in, that's it. Unwind the wheel. How'd that slow release feel?
Yeah, I think it was better.
Feel how it puts a bit more weight on the nose?
Yeah.
So next thing we can do at Redgate there is turn in later. We turned in too early that time.
Right, okay.
Bring it back into the left, then hard on them brakes, down a gear, roll it in, balance it round, eyes up, out to left, feed the throttle. Nicely done. Smell like it, mate? It's looking good. That's it. So onto the brake, small brake in, staying wide, stay wide, stay wide. Now turn in. Balance it round, unwind the wheel, smooth on the throttle.
Are you saying unwind the wheel ahead of you expecting me to do it at that moment?
So that's when you just do a fraction. You just unwind it a little bit,
Yeah.
and keep the vision up and start to feed on the throttle as you unwind it.
Right.
The idea is you do the maximum amount of turning at the start of the corner. So you brake in here, go in deep, turn in, and now start to unwind slightly. There you go. And see, it kills that understeer.
Yeah, yeah.
So you just deleted it straight away.
Right, okay, I'm
And
with
you've got a
you.
cleaner exit. So if you hear that understeer coming in, hear that squealing,
Yeah.
you've got a little bit too much lock. So just start to unwind it and release it a bit nicer. On the brakes, staying wide, roll it in,
The
balance,
ABS kicking in there.
unwind. So feel a little bit of traction coming in there now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just where we're getting on the throttle a little bit too much mid-corner. So just try and balance it out a little bit more.
Right.
So what we're going to try and do is by later on is take that traction off. Cool. Lewis, lines are looking really good. So we're starting to turn in later, which is working really nicely. You've got that unwinding the wheel a little bit earlier, just keep the vision up. Unwind a little bit too soon then. Now unwind.
Right.
So that's looking nice. What I want you to do now is try and get the feel of squeezing harder on the brakes.
Yeah.
So just using more pressure. See what they can do.
I think I'm being a bit mechanically
On the brakes.
sympathetical.
That's it. How much you can stop the car.
Yeah, yeah.
So don't worry about mechanical sympathy. You're in the SE model today, which means it's somebody else's, so don't worry about it. So coming down here, squeezing on the brakes, load that weight onto the nose. And that's what we're doing, we're weight loading.
Is that a bit too early?
I was about to say, what have we done? Turned in early, right?
Yeah.
But you noticed it straight away. So next time, nice and late, stay wide. I'll remind you on the way in. Roll it into left. Let it come out to the middle, that's it. A little bit too wide out, so onto the brakes because it's pushed us right out.
I've pushed, yeah, I see what you mean.
See how it's lost the line?
Yeah.
So you just want to let it sink to the middle of the track as opposed to all the way over on that point. Back over to the left. Over to the curb on the right. Now stay wide, we're going to turn in later up here as well. Stay wide, now in.
and then see how you can get your braking done further over to the left. There you go. Roll it in. How much quicker is that?
I took off too much speed then.
Unwind. How much quicker is that?
It felt like I was going slower though. I felt like I'd really scrubbed the speed off.
But it was smoother, right?
Yeah.
And that's why. So keep on the throttle, keep looking ahead. Look all the way through the corner, look down the straight, eyes up down there. Unwind, feed the throttle. 4. Put that left hand indicator on, let him through. Get rid of him.
If you can keep up, you can have it. Nope.
Okay, ease off a little bit, let him through. So, one more, and then let's take our line. On the brakes, down, staying wide, stay wide, now in. Balance the throttle, so a little bit less throttle mid-corner.
Okay.
Was almost accelerating through that time. Dab of the brakes, that's it. Roll it in, back on the throttle, balance it round. Keep it smooth, keep looking ahead. Unwind the wheel slightly as you come around here. That's it, get a nice clean exit. How smooth is that?
No squeal on that one.
So what did you do differently that time?
I think I was a little bit more feathered on the throttle and a little bit less aggressive in the steering.
Yep, exactly that. So, Jeremy's sitting right on your inside. Yeah, so exactly that. So, your turning was better. We weren't held on the wheel so much. Our line was nice. It was clean unwind. And like you say, we actually gave it less throttle mid-corner.
Yeah.
And it was more balanced. So what I want you to think about is a big pendulum, and everything you do is affecting where that weight sits.
Right.
And that's going to help smoothing you out a little bit more.
And
we're starting to get it anyway.
We're aiming to keep that pendulum in the middle.
Trying to keep it as smooth as you can. So you want it at the front now because you want weight over the nose to help you turn. Now you balance it at the side, and on the exit you're moving it to the rear. So all your inputs merge nicely together to move it around as smooth as you can.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Onto the brakes. Nice. Smooth on that steering.
I got a bit carried away. This is going to be the trouble in a race, is that you just end up zoning in on the car in front.
100%. It's the red mist everyone talks about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, roll it into left. Nice. Onto the brakes, get that weight on the nose, slow release. Unwind the wheel. Smooth feed on. 4th. Bring it over. Now we've got a nice little rhythm going.
Yeah, and then there's a
Stay
really
wide.
fast MX-5 coming.
In. On the brakes. Hard on the brakes. Slow release. In, that's it. Yeah, hold that right line. I'm going straight back over. Keep looking up, looking ahead. Unwind the wheel. Keep feeding the throttle. Awesome. Looking good.
Good. My left shoulder hurts.
So at the moment, what we'll do is do a little bit of a slow run down the straight, just to we'll have a quick talk. So that last lap or so, you started to relax a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now I say that because beforehand you sat like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Relax, sit back into it. It's first session, so it's going to happen. And let the car do the hard work. That's it. I say it quite a lot. Mindset is a huge amount of it. Quite a lot you can rush into these things, going on to track day, getting, you get all the adrenaline, you get excited, etc. All goes out the window. If you just relax, get into the car, yeah, it starts to flow a bit more naturally. Slightly, because it's a different setup on these. Okay, 15. Leave out in the garage if you want, out here. And what we do is just lightly click it, a couple of clicks. That's it. Just grabs it enough then.
Awesome.
Cool, nicely done. So you felt the difference in that weight transfer, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's very tangible when it goes from, it's very tangible, the difference in how the car feels, and you can feel the back coming a little bit in mid-corner and kind of holding it a bit more on the throttle rather than just kind of diving, hoping in. and then the back kind of just stays in line with the front much less because you're going much slower. It's not as light on its feet.
Exactly.
Whereas when you've got, as you said, getting that balance right, you can feel the whole weight of the car, just where it's sitting and how loose it is.
It's loading the tyres more, and you're letting the car do the hard work effectively.
Yeah.
So it's a more relaxed way of driving, but it actually becomes faster because physics is helping. Basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than sort of forcing the tyre to do a job
But
that
it's
it
kind
doesn't
of
want
like
to do.
tyre squeal is the enemy, really, isn't it? Like if we minimise that, then it means we're not understeering, we're not getting scrubbed, the rear's not gone. So it's that balance feels a lot better.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
nicely done.
Thank you for the help on that.
Look at the chip tyre pressures.
Have you been recording the whole time? Oh. First session done. My shoulder aches because I was so tense to start with. For the first couple of laps, getting used to kind of checking mirrors and getting out of people's way and kind of attacking quite quickly. I was sat like this, so this is quite tired. But by the end, thanks to Nick kind of reaffirming what I was doing, got a lot more confident. I could feel the balance of the car better, and it had gone from kind of diving in hard, loads of tyre squeal, loads of understeer, to being able to kind of balance the car on the throttle and feel the back end rotating round and the whole car moving as it should. So just through that one session, it builds more and more confidence in being able to actually do this properly. I just need to be able to do it consistently so that when the ARDS instructor's there, I'm not an absolute clown with a dodgy shoulder for being too tense. It's good fun.
What's your verdict, Nick?
Pretty good.
I'm off.
I'm off. I've got to talk right now.
Right, so let's go through that. This is the optimum lap. So what this has done is it's chopped up all of my laps, put together all the best bits to show what would have been possible had I connected all these dots in that one lap.
Exactly that, yeah.
So it will skip
So-
between the different laps then.
Yeah, exactly. So you might see it jumping a little bit throughout the video, but we'll pause and have a little talk about some of the corners.
Yeah.
So first one coming into Redgate. Let's have a little watch through first. So anything you can see there which isn't obvious, what we could do differently or better?
So I think by the end of the session we were getting closer to where that spill stain was for our turning point, because I was looking for when the curbing started. So I imagine this is probably a little bit earlier but carried more speed, whereas the other ones had a better exit as well. So I think on the exit of this there's more space to go, because I'm scared of the red and white and the green bits.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, you want to be staying out a little bit later than what we do here. We turn in a fraction early.
Yeah,
We're using that as a target.
yeah.
In all honesty, if we was all the way out there, that'd be way too late.
Right, okay.
So at the moment, it's a good guide just to try and encourage you to
It
get away
was-
from turning
This
early.
bit here was where I was kind of aiming my
Yeah.
turning point for.
Yeah, so you sort of stay out wide here.
Yeah,
And then as you start turning, look up, look across the apex. You're looking through almost to where that car is now. So you're
Right.
looking sort of all the way through the corner. That would then bring in nicely to the inside like you've done there.
yeah.
And then start to unwind the wheel sooner to get the car out wider.
Because I can get almost to that green bit then
Exactly.
without having any real bother.
Which then would give you a nicer, cleaner run through here. We turned in a bit early, we held the inside all the way
This
through.
has been my thing. Do I hold that line or do I let it run wide here to catch the next apex better?
So I
'Cause I've
tend
been cutting this early here, haven't I?
Yeah, so the first one I tend to miss a little bit. You sit a little bit in the middle of the track.
Yeah.
So you're sitting out here, you roll in, you'd be out here in the middle, then you'd cut in.
Okay.
And then it gives you more of a straight line here too, because that means you'll be slightly more to the right.
Yeah.
And see we're already starting to pull over.
Right, okay.
Where if you were slightly more to the right and
Okay.
now starting to turn in.
Yeah. It'd be more of a straight line through there.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Which if you watch this one, we'll probably find that we sort of sink into the middle and you have to tug the wheel a little bit to get it back over there. So it'd be more natural to roll in and come
Yeah,
around.
because that was one thing when we were on the track at that point. You were like, you want to be in the middle of the track, because I'd let it go all the way to the side, and then we'd quite quickly realise that I was over there at this point when I needed to be over here.
Yeah.
And just that little bit of kind of keeping central to the track rather than going to the side of the track made
Exactly.
a huge difference.
But the biggest difference would be your turning up here.
So if I held that first bit wide, do I want to kiss this corner?
Yeah, you still be tight on this second part, so
Yeah.
second apex, stay nice and tight. but you almost straight line it here. So
Right.
staying with the white line, then turn in, and that would just, it's only taken off a few degrees, but it's enough to
just
straight
enough
line
to,
it a bit more.
Yeah.
Let's come down on the brakes, this bit is good. Roll in. Again, what do you think on the exit?
Again, there was space to keep going wide, wasn't there? Based on how far we've stayed behind this MX-5, this must have been one lap that was really quite good.
Good lead into it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, as you said, using more of the width of the track. What I did feel here was that I was going quite slowly at the turn-in, but I don't know if that's right or if I should feel like I was going quicker. So when I was behind the wheel, I was like, oh, I've braked too hard here and taken off too much speed.
Yeah.
Or did I brake the right amount and carry enough speed, but I just felt like it was slower because before I'd been understeering but faster.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there, basically. We're taking off a little bit too much speed, but at the same time, it's better to do that and get your positioning right than to go through and sort of push yourself out wide and mess that side of things up. Because the idea is, if we can come in here a little bit faster, and I'd say more brake pressure, so you put the weight on the nose, not more brakes, but more brake pressure to weight up that nose better.
Yeah.
You'll get turned in, and then you can be back on the power earlier, and that will naturally push you back out further.
Because that was one thing, each lap we were getting a little bit wider and a little bit wider, just as my confidence with the track positioning came through.
Exactly. So it'll start to grow in. That's good. Can't do much more there. You can type right in if you really want to. But
there we go, we've lost that MX-5. But the position in between, so if you go back to before it cut, so here where it changes, the car is kind of in the same spot on both clips. So I must have been getting that line much more consistently.
So do you remember halfway through where we mentioned about staying wider and then turning in to get the better braking?
Yeah, that's what was going on.
That's exactly
so
what
when
happened.
It cuts, the car's in almost exactly the same spot there. Which
where
meant
before we was almost turning at this point.
Yeah.
So it was already rolling in. Where now, you get that nice straight line.
It's a straight line in the braking zone then, isn't it?
Harden the brakes, rolled in.
Because this again was another spot where I was sometimes pulling wide understeering because I was getting on the power too soon. I was lifting off the brakes too quickly, and that was one thing that you were like slow off, ease off, like
slow release.
Yeah, rather than just lifting off one and putting down the other. And that again, we had one lap where it was loads of understeer, nearly going off onto that green bit and just losing all the speed.
Yeah, that was a really nice corner complex there actually. That's a really neat one. So you watch that back again. Nice late turn in, straight line, gets your braking done, get the speed off, slow release, rolled in, back on the power to balance, and then feeding on the exit. So that's really good. Again, we could use more on the left, but what you'll find is the speed naturally builds up, you're naturally going to use that area.
Because you carry more into that corner.
Exactly.
And then this corner was the one that I just kept failing to slowly come round and releasing off the steering.
We were sort of running around the outside of this a lot of the time.
I couldn't quite get my head around where the centre point I needed to aim for was.
So try and push the turn-in marker a little bit later. So you almost want to be sort of right at the end of the curve.
Right, yeah.
As you turn in, you get a bit more of an initial bite and turn in as you come over the top, which would then mean here you'd be sort of more in the middle of the track.
Okay.
Then you just start to unwind, you look up down to the curb on the left and you just bring yourself over to the left.
Right. So that corner, you're kind of taking most of it on the outside of
You're sort of middle of the track.
Right.
Yeah, so tight on the first part of the corner and then you let it gently merge out to the middle. But the idea is, if we talk about steering inputs, you're going to come in, you're going to turn in, get the top corner done, or the first part of the corner, and then from there,
you just
all the gentle unwind.
Right, okay.
Because then you can just keep feeding that power on. And
it just allows you to put more power in, like continuously as you're.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it was Tiff Nadal said on fifth gear, like imagine the throttle and the steering wheel are connected by like a rope, and you can't unwind if you've got throttle down because the rope will stop you.
Yeah, really good analogy. So different ways of thinking of it, but basically depending on how much percent you're using up here, depends on how much you can sort of use on the pedals basically. It's the same sort of thing. If you join it up with rope, you're going to use X amount. Yeah. Which is why we're talking about a slow release, because we're trying to merge that brake in. So let's say you're 100% on the brakes.
You want to be straight.
You want to be straight.
Yeah.
As soon as you start to release that brake,
you can start turning. So it's just the inverse of your exit then?
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, okay. That's clean, nice. Good entrance, good exit. Jumps across a little bit there. It's probably because sometimes we were sort of hugging the inside, but there was a lot of traffic out at that point as well.
So at that point, am I aiming for the start of that curb on the exit?
Yeah, down nice and wide, and then just gently merge over like you do.
Yeah. So if we get all those dots connected, that would have been my optimum time out of all of them.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think it was what, 2 seconds difference between the fastest one and the optimum
It is,
one?
yeah. I don't like to look at lap times too much, especially on a track day.
No,
but
it's hard to do when you're analysing video footage, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
You can't help but look at the numbers because you've got a video of the whole thing.
yeah, I mean, yeah, 2 seconds between your optimal and your best lap.
Yeah.
Not bad going for first session. What we're trying to do is just neaten it all up, put it all together.
build
Let's see if we can get
consistency.
closer to that, but
Yeah.
we're not going to focus on that lap time.
No,
We're
no,
just
no.
gonna
That's for the racers.
go for the consistency, go for the smoothness.
Yeah.
That will naturally come. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
even have to think about that.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Now we have it. The first track session done in preparation for my ARDS test. Thanks to Nick at Learn to Race for taking both me and Grace out and giving us some instruction and some guidance, most of all some confidence, because doing track days and stuff is great, but not knowing where you're going right, where you're going wrong, and whether you'd be like suitable for doing something as important as an ARDS test is really crucial to getting things better. So huge thank you to Nick, thank you to Learn to Race, and we should hopefully in the next part be doing the ARDS test itself. See what happens.